Hi, this is Al Adamsen, founder and executive director of the Talent Strategy Institute, and I'm very excited to be with Matt Hendrickson, founder and CEO of Ascendify. Matt, you there?
I'm here, Al. Nice to
Hey,
speak with
Matt.
you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's it
And
going?
I'm, very, very excited about what you all are doing. I mean, you did extraordinarily well. You got a lot of positive attention at the People Analytics Future of Work conference last month, and Heather Whiteman from G Digital highlighted what she has done there that most of the audience, at least everyone I talked to, found very innovative and certainly worth considering. So I, for one, am looking forward to learning more about what you have to share here.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Al. And I think, one of the things we're going to be talking about today is our recent launch of Aspire. So Aspire, for those of you that don't know what that is yet, it's a new, I guess we'd classify it in the talent management arena, but it's a new solution that helps deliver a virtual career coach for employees to help with their development and growth and helping them reach their full potential. And think of it as a self-service AI-enabled tool to help people grow and develop.
With that in mind, the idea that growth and development and confidence that I am going to, as an individual employee, that is, am going to become more employable through rapid and appropriate skill acquisition over time. If that is in place, then my propensity to stay and do great work while I'm here goes up. Is that effectively what you're solving for?
Yeah, that's just a key pillar of what we're trying to do. And I think there's always been great software delivered in our industry, but in the past, a lot of it is really, was centered more from an HR perspective or from a company's perspective and a lot more top down. And I think what we're learning in today's world is that, if we want people to really benefit from applications and we want people to develop and grow and take their own self-initiative, that we have to provide them with really consumer-oriented, very friendly applications that have a level of intelligence that are going to be geared for them to drive value for them. And I think that's exactly what we're trying to do with Ascendify and really deliver employee-facing tools and manager-facing tools that are going to help them, develop themselves or develop their teams. And so that sits inside of our overall mission. Just to share that really quickly with the audience, is Ascendify is really focused on aligning a large company's talent strategy with their business strategy, and doing that in an increasingly very complex world. We live in a climate where unemployment levels are really low, talent is really scarce. We have a next generation of our workforce which has high demands, higher than previous generations, and they're not going to really want to stay in the same job their whole career. They want to move around. They want to be agile. They want to develop and grow themselves. It's just a key part of what the next generation is really looking for. And so we think that software has to evolve to really cater to the needs of the future, and that's really what we're bringing forth with Ascendify.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's dive in.
All right, great. Overall, we Ascendify helps in two areas. We help companies in talent acquisition, helping them attract, develop, select, and onboard talent. And then on the other side, we help once they're an employee, once we can help them develop and grow and help them reach their full potential. And we do this in a number of modules or applications like a CRM, an ATS, and an onboarding solution. And then within talent management, it's a new product we've launched called Aspire, and that's what we're talking about today. But it helps people understand, where they are today relative to where they should be, from a skill set perspective, like understanding what skills you have, what skills you need, how do I get to the future, what gaps I have, how can I close those gaps with learning assets or projects that I can go take on. And that's really what we're focusing on with Aspire. And so, but before I dive in, I'll just let the audience know we work with mostly large enterprise companies. So most of the clients we work with are very large global corporations, spanning across all industries. And we also we've built a very global platform. So whether it's security, compliance, configuration, or configuration or integrations with other HR systems, the platform was really built around that concept. But to get into Aspire, it's really about helping companies get intelligence about their people. And, that intelligence means, what talent do our people have? What skills do they have? How do they want to develop their career? What skills do they need to get there? What motivates them? And ultimately, we're looking for our platform to bring back intelligence to help companies make smarter decisions, who to promote, who to put on a succession plan, who to develop and grow, and how do we help our people reach their full potential. And yeah, that's really one of the core things about what we're trying to do is help companies get intelligence about their people.
With that in mind, we talk about potential and, how people develop their careers. Are you looking at the work that needs to be done and the skills associated, with that work? And I don't mean to, take you out of scope, but at the same time, I want to, provide additional context in terms of, how you identify these skills and how individuals then can select the appropriate training program or development opportunities to, make sure that they're growing in the way that not only the organization deems appropriate, but they themselves deem appropriate. Did you follow that?
Yeah, I did. And there's really two parts. And this is by the way, probably our greatest challenge as a company is how do we help other companies triangulate their talent strategy with their business strategy, but do that 3 years out. Like, so for example, the company wants to capitalize on certain business opportunities. So that's new divisions they want to open in certain regions, or that's new products and services they want to roll out, or that's new, even to some extent, new expansions of existing divisions. And all of those things need people. And so we stop short of being a workforce planning solution that helps you develop your business strategy. But what we do is we take the output of that and then we can bring that into Ascendify's platform. And what that will set up is like, well, here's all the people we need 3 years out. With that information, we're getting half of the equation. And another part is we need to know where our employees want to be, right? Because the 3-year journey of an employee, we need to know what they're passionate about, where they want to be. Some people want to move from marketing to sales. Some people want to move from IT to engineering. And we, as a company, should know that across our organization, not only know who wants to be where in 3 years, but how to help them get there. And that's what we should be doing. But so ultimately, what our goal is to help companies triangulate the business opportunities with their talent and how to do that 3 years out so that we can triangulate that and put everybody on a plan to get there.
Super cool. Super cool. No wonder you're getting such positive attention. No, that's great.
Yeah, and we built this for GE initially. So we started the company in 2012 around a mission of helping GE transform digitally. And so, as many people know, that GE has gone through a rather significant transformation in becoming a digital industrial company, whereas before they were mainly a manufacturing and industrial company, but adding things like technology to and sensors to all of their infrastructure to help them better predict things, and all of that obviously needed a lot of skills and people at the organization that they didn't have before. And so Ascendify was instrumental in helping GE transform, either hiring the people and attracting the talent here in Silicon Valley to how to bring those people into the company, as well as helping navigate people to the right careers. So moving people, for example, in IT over into software and engineering to help them develop those skills. And so all of that transformation was supported by Ascendify with the technology that we used and how to help that. And then I would say at Cisco was really, really important to Cisco was internal mobility and a great employee experience. And in order to deliver something like that, we really needed a solution to help them understand what skill sets they had of people, what expectations should we have, and then help them navigate their way to their future career and identify skills and career paths that are going to help them get to where they want to go in their career and in life. And so we do that with Cisco and GE, and we built the platform around those companies and a few others to really to evolve what we have today that we're launching, which is Aspire.
Fantastic. Really like it. Congratulations on that again.
Yeah. And when we went to Cisco and GE and a few other clients, we all we heard the same things over and over from employees, right? It was ironic how many people we talked to, and we talked to hundreds of employees. they all said the same thing. People want to be in charge of their own career path. They just want the company to give them the tools to develop and put them on a path. They wanted easier way to find roles and opportunities and explore functions. They needed to know what skills are going to be important 3 years out so they can navigate their way to the hot jobs in the future inside the company, right? Just having that basic information they couldn't get access to. And then how did they, how to connect with other people that have the same interests, whether that's a formal mentorship program or whether that's just an easier way to network with people to find projects to join to develop certain skills that you might have that are part of your career path. And all of that was really, these are sort of the key things that we kept hearing over and over. And we believe this is the same challenges that almost every large company has, which is there's not a lot of visibility to employees to identify either pathways or develop skills and understanding where they are, where they need to be, what's going to be important in the future, for all of those things to be visible and transparent to employees. And that's what people really, really want. And as you mentioned at the beginning, if we can give that to employees, they're going to be a lot more likely to stay, because if they can start to see a career path inside the company, they're not going to really want to necessarily go outside and find it externally, especially with a large company and lots of opportunities all over the world that can help people grow and develop.
Got it. Yeah, agreed. Just a related question. I saw on your earlier slide 70% adoption, and you don't get 70% adoption unless there's a value proposition in it for the individual, him or herself. So as I look at these quotes and look at that statistic, people are getting something out of this that they feel is helping them. Is that an accurate statement?
It's absolutely accurate, and yeah, and we're proud of those numbers. And that's really why I think today and all future software has to be employee focused and manager focused, as opposed to being, an HR solution that HR truly benefits from. Because we had a lot of that technology, but no one ever used it, and thus we never really got the value from it. And so, we figured out that it has to be a self-service, autonomous virtual career coach, where the employee can actually get a lot of benefit from the input of data that they put in. And we'll go through what that means. But yeah, I think that's just a real important part of delivering software in the future, is making it valuable to the actual user so they use it.
Agreed.
So it all starts out with, skill assessment. So helping an employee identify strengths and skill gaps, and even understanding their passions and interests, because it's not just about where they are relative to where they should be in their current role. It's about what other interests and passions they have, and how do we understand that as those aspects of the platform and that data, so that we can make intelligent, smart recommendations in the future. So so there's a way to conduct a self-assessment, a manager assessment. We can even bring in data if companies want to allow colleagues to provide some inputs. It's done in a very anonymous way, so that there's not a lot of privacy concerns with respect to rating other people. But so we bring together data that helps an employee understand where they currently are and where they need to go or want to go. And then the next step is really what we call accelerating their learning, which means a lot of people at large companies have access to many LMSs, but what they don't have is the ability to know which ones are going to materially move the needle on their careers. Because if they had that information, they'd be a lot more likely to go just read that book or watch that video or join that project. And so that's what the platform does. We're not an LMS, but we surface all of the LMS assets that a company can deliver to its employees, and we put it right there at the right time, so that you understand, hey, if you have this gap with something that's important to your role, then here's a bunch of learning assets that are going to help you develop and grow. So put them into your backpack and put yourself on a learning path to develop and some of the gaps that you might have.
And are these categories, or let's say financial statements, operations analysis, are those identified by the organization, the individual themselves, or a combination of the two?
Yeah, it's a combination. This is actually where some of our AI comes in, but basically we use some machine learning algorithms that understand, we can track if somebody else in the company developed some skills. They might have had maybe they were, let's just say, unskilled in a certain area, and then they either watched some videos, read some books, went to a conference, or took on some projects, we can track how they've developed their skills, and assuming they've increased their skill level. Now, our system studies all of that data and then uses that to make recommendations to other people in the future. So just like Spotify might recommend music and Netflix might recommend movies, we're recommending learning assets, which are sort of the platform learning from itself over time to make smarter and smarter recommendations.
Super cool. And, this might be a big question, but just very succinctly, are those learning assets all internal, or could they be external assets as well, like a YouTube video, for example?
Yeah, like it can be all of the above, and I'll just say that it's beyond just books and videos, but it's it's web links, but it's also things like conferences. So if there's a conference, some of our large clients have conference centers and they have leadership programs, and so all of those things can be considered learning assets. Many companies have more than one LMS, so it's all about like bringing together all of the content that can help people develop and grow. And honestly, it's not just learning assets. It's more importantly, we would say it's projects, because there's a lot of projects going on inside of a company, and wouldn't it be great to find out which one of those projects that you could actually join that would develop certain skills that you have that are gaps. So that's an important part of what we do.
Got it. Very cool.
Yeah, and then the exciting thing is once this is where when we talk about 70% adoption, this is one of the reasons why, because if the employee takes some initiative and starts to let the system learn about him or her, then the more system learn, the more the assistant can learn about you, the more it can then make smarter recommendations. In this case, it's helping the employees map out a career path. And what it's doing here is it's looking, and we're using our AI and machine learning algorithms to really understand what are the career paths of other successful people, and what skills do we have today, and how would those skills suit the position that I'm seeking. And if I see some gaps, what learning assets are available to me to then help me develop and grow. And this is just very, very exciting for a lot of employees, because they've never had anything like this before at this level, right? With especially with some of the AI and intelligence that's built into the background. So think of it as just like automated career recommendations. But one of the really exciting things is how this is just changing the conversations. A lot of companies talk about internal mobility and just easily giving employees the ability to see those opportunities, and not only see them, but change the conversation. I heard a story from one of our clients that they had an employee, and the employee wanted a different, a new role, a more senior role inside the company. And so he really prepared. He went through this process. He understood what the skill requirements of the role were. He knew his own gaps. Like, he was really honest with himself and understood where he had gaps. And he walked into the interview with that sort of that new position inside the company that he wanted. And he basically said, yeah, look, I really want this job. I really think I'm a good fit. I can tell you I'm a good fit because 6 out of 10 of these things that are important to the role I have, and I've nailed them. And by the way, these other 4 that I don't have, I put myself on a learning path to help develop them in 6 months. I'm going to this conference. I'm actually reading this book right now. So when a hiring manager hears that from a potential candidate, they're like, wow, this just changes the whole conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is it begs the question for me, if performance management is a legacy process and there's a movement towards a more development conversation, it sounds like, I don't know if you're viewing this as a replacement for performance management, but it's certainly more empowering and confidence inspiring. Is that a fair statement? And are you looking at reframing the performance management process through this, or is this a separate process?
I think this is a part of it. I agree. I mean, there's lots of transformation happening in performance management, and a lot of that is still evolving. But the general principles and concepts are out there, right? The annual performance review seems to be less desired by both managers and employees today, and it's moving toward more real-time one-on-one conversations and, real-time check-ins and a lot more like quick feedback, and which makes a lot of sense. I don't think anyone argues with that. I think when it comes to performance, there's a couple of pillars, right? That I think we believe that one of the most important pillars is, okay, well, what skills do you have? What skills do you need? And how are you helping develop to get there? Because skills to do the job is one of the most important things. It's not everything, but it is a really key important part. But the other thing with performance, it's not just about the skills. You have to have the potential, you have to have the passion, the desire, you have to be able to produce results. And I think there's new ways to measure those kinds of things evolving. There's goals, there's development conversations happening. But we do believe, we really believe that an important part of that conversation has to be about skills and level of skills that achieve in development and growth conversations that are happening around, like your skill development.
Got it. And, I know we can talk about this all day. I just want to highlight Guru Sethapathi at Capital One talks about the diminishing half-life of skills. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it's also the case where we can identify what skills are necessary and how to learn them quicker, so we can accelerate appropriate learning. Is that a fair statement as well?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's one thing that our platform really helps with, is it understands, like, we're working on some solutions to really help companies understand because skills are changing, right? They're dynamic. And what the skills of tomorrow are not the skills of the past. And so we're looking for our machine learning solutions to actually start to surface new skills that are entering at the rapid pace they're entering, and how do we put those in front of employees. But if companies have a framework which all employees are connected to, imagine how quickly you could make transformation. You could add to everyone, if you had 300,000 employees, you could add a new capability, and we define capabilities broadly. It could be a technical skill or a soft skill like leadership skills. So imagine what a CEO could do tomorrow. They could say, all right, everyone at our company is now going to be measured on this personal attribute that is important to our culture. And overnight, everyone would sort of understand what that is, and then be assessed on it. And then, some people need to develop and grow around it. But you can do that for one skill, a soft skill like a personal attribute, or inside a division or department. You could now say, okay, everyone's going to be perfect at security, and everyone in the security roles are now going to get this new, whatever it is, SOC 2 compliance. Or so you can understand that. How quickly you can make those changes as skills, come and go, or develop and grow, or even phase out.
Got it. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, and part of it is showing you the high demand skills. So if we look 3 years out as a business and we understand we need these people in these roles, and just very simply setting them as important roles of the future, right? Where future is all electric cars, or the future is SaaS and cloud, and making just that simple basic information available to employees to know, well, where do if you're going to navigate your career, why not navigate it to something that's very hot in the future, where we're going to need a lot of people and we're understaffed around these skills. So just sharing that with employees as part of their career planning and pathing is very important. I spend a little bit of time talking about talent marketplace, because we think part of it is obviously learning assets, our learning management system assets, books, videos, conferences, YouTube links, all of that. But more importantly, it's if you've read a book or watched a video, we want to provide employees with the ability to put that to use inside the organization, and actually start a project or join an existing project where you can develop those skills. So that's what this does. It's a way, Talent Marketplace is a way for employees to self-assemble around key stretch projects inside the company. Usually it's only 10-20% of your time, or if you want to do it on a night and a weekend to help develop your skills, then you'd be able to do that. But yeah, it's really helping companies assemble around projects. The examples on screen are a little bit more on the kind of the fun side, but you can imagine, like, if it's a website that needs to be built, or if it's I don't know, some exciting stuff with blockchain or any kind of new technology, machine learning, or even something like exciting in sales. There's lots of projects that are happening in the company and lots of ways for people to get involved. So we're bringing all of that together.
Very nice.
And then, we feed all of that data. All of the data is in the application, so we can start to feed that into other areas. We have a succession planning module, or we can prepare that data for other succession planning tools. But it's giving companies the ability to not only say this would be the person we want to put a succession plan around, and here are all the skills and attributes and capabilities of that person and the levels, and then it just makes those development conversations with future successors so much easier, because you now literally have a list of things that your future successors need to work on until they are ready to take on that role. And so it's identifying the people, and it's also identifying the development programs people need to get on to help become the next successors. And then obviously you have 3 successors for all your key roles. You're in really good shape at the company around succession planning.
So we're taking it out of a spreadsheet and actually putting it into a dynamic interface. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's right. Because we think it belongs there. I mean, if you're gonna, isn't it amazing to be able to look at, the key attributes and capabilities of a certain person that's in a role, and I'd codify those and then find replacement who can meet all of that criteria. And you're never going to find the perfect replacement. You're going to find people with, 15 out of 20 of those attributes. But the nice thing is you now can develop just the 5 things that are gaps. So again, using the competency framework to really, same competency framework, but really to, focus on helping someone become, develop and grow to become the next successor for a particular role.
Got it.
And then, again, really exciting with respect to what we can do across the organization. So how do we surface all of this data? Our belief is, with respect to data, is that, data shouldn't come out of into a spreadsheet or into a BI tool and be delivered to the CEO and somehow find its way back to the business to drive value. What we instead believe is that all of the insights and intelligence should be delivered right in real time. So a manager should be able to go in and look at their team and understand some of the gaps that they have. For example, in this case, time management happens to be something my particular division is not great with, but so we can see that, visualize that, and then work with our team, and then that next one-on-one conversation or that real-time growth and performance discussion, we can have a chat about how everyone should be working on improving their time management skills. So that's just one example, but you can see how that translates across all sort of skills and capabilities and soft skills and hard skills.
And just to be clear, yeah, and sorry to interrupt, Matt, but just to be clear, we're actually looking at snapshots of the product, yeah?
These are, yeah, this is all live software. It's been in deployment in production for our largest clients for anywhere from 1 year to 2 years.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and then, all the way back to the beginning of how do we use the system to align our business strategy with our talent strategy? And so part of that is, if we know where we need to be 3 years out, then we should be putting, targets or benchmarks into the application. So with a particular skill or a particular role, we should be defining, these are the hot ones of the future, but beyond just defining what is hot, actually laying out a plan that says, hey, we need 6 more people in this business unit that has this particular skill. And we only have 1 today, we need 6 tomorrow, and that's just in a small group. But and then so let's put ourselves on a path to get there. Now we can either go hire those people in, or we can develop and grow our people inside the group we have today, or we can even contract out some work if we needed to get that particular skill set in-house and do some consulting. But you can see how you can align some of your workforce planning with your employee needs and aligning your employees to help self-develop them toward what you need in the future.
Got it. No, I like the visuals as well. It's really cool.
So that's everything. I mean, we talked a lot about just, the self-service career coaching and, virtual career coach for all employees. And that's really, you can see it at ascendify.com if you want more information, but that's everything we wanted to share today. Hopefully that's been exciting.
Well, absolutely, Matt. I mean, congratulations yet again to you and your team. You guys are doing something special there, and the elevated presence in the market is well deserved, and look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, thanks, Al. Thanks for taking the time. I'll chat with you soon.